Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And thank y'all for coming over this morning. And I know that many of you are with me and my family and at the party on Saturday night. The good people of Louisiana demonstrated that they saw fit to elect me to another term as their governor. I am humbled and gratified by that, by the faith and trust that they have put in me, and I want to assure the people of Louisiana that I will work hard every single day to continue to move Louisiana forward. I have obviously been lucky enough to travel to every part of our state, thousands and thousands of people of Louisiana. They continue to guide me and they inspire me, and I just want to make sure that they know that they inspire me and that I'm going to continue to work very, very hard every day. And I'm actually very excited the opportunities we have as a state to continue to move forward. I will tell you that, and I said this over the last several weeks, there would come a time when the campaign season would be over, and it would be time to get back to governing. That time is now, and that's exactly what I intend to do. And so I have reestablished good communications with the president, for example, to make sure that we're going to continue to work together to move our state forward. And that is also my approach with respect to the legislature. And so we've already reached out to legislators, and I'll be meeting with a number of the new legislators on tomorrow, and then I look forward to having individual meetings with them as we are able to do that over the next month or so. We're going to continue to lay out our plans and goals as we begin the term, but there are some things that you can expect. One is that I will insist that we continue doing everything we can to grow the economy, make sure we have the fiscal stability that we need to make the necessary investments in our critical priorities, and I will fight any effort to return our state to uncertainty and deficits. Just not going to go there. I want to continue to invest in education, for example, at all levels. Early childhood will be my highest priority for new education investments in the second term. But it is also true that our teachers need and deserve additional pay raises to get them at least to the southern average. And one of the things that we can do to make sure that we gain ground and certainly don't lose ground is start funding the inflationary factor that's contemplated in the minimum formula, half of which goes to teacher pay raises. And if we will do that, we will make sure that we have more stability there as well. Obviously, I'm interested in continuing to better fund higher education as well. We just had our first new investment in higher education in a decade. It's true that we have one of the lowest expenditures per student, I should say, in the country. Infrastructure is also going to be a top priority, will remain a top priority. We're already making significant new investments. Infrastructure investment that was approved this year will actually start next year. We're going to have additional projects that are going to be funded above and beyond what would ordinarily be possible just through these normal state highway programs. It's also a good thing that we have surplus dollars because we can make sure that we can invest those in infrastructure, both roads and bridges, but also coastal restoration and protection. We have more coastal restoration and protection projects underway right now than at any point in Louisiana's history. That reflects the sense of urgency that we have, and we're going to make sure to fund that program as best we can. The surplus dollars will help us there as well. You're going to see us focus relentlessly on the master plan for higher education that the Commissioner, Kim Hunter-Reid, and the Board of Regents unveiled a couple of months ago. It has the power to transform our state like probably nothing that we've done with respect to talent development and creating more opportunity and prosperity. And in a nutshell, it envisions that by 2030, 60% of the working age adults in Louisiana will have a post-secondary credential or degree, whether it's a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree or a credential. And that will allow us to attract more investment and more job creation, and that'll all happen right here for our people. So that's 60% of working age adults by 2030. You're also going to see us focus on other parts of the workforce development spectrum, including a big emphasis on dual enrollment at high schools so that juniors and seniors all across the state of Louisiana have the opportunity and ability to have to earn credits and credentials, and in some cases degrees, while they are in high school, regardless of their zip code and their ability to pay if they are qualified juniors and seniors. That will be incredibly important. And as you likely remember, and I said to thunderous applause on Saturday night, I will continue to fight for an increase in the minimum wage, because $7.25 in 2019 and soon to be 2020 is not a meaningful, adequate minimum wage. And we have the largest gender pay gap in the country. That offends me, and the vast majority of people in Louisiana want us to rectify that situation as well. So I will continue to work with the legislature and insist that we address and eliminate our gender pay gap. I want you to know that I'm going to work hard every single day for this second term. I'm excited. I know that our state is much stronger and much better than 4 years ago by every relevant metric. And I have every confidence that 4 years from now we're going to be better and stronger still because of the work that we are going to do. And while Saturday night was certainly an exciting time, we did start this week off responding to a cyber attack. I will tell you that the ransomware attack was largely unsuccessful in the sense that we did not lose any data and we did not pay any ransom. Also, one of the reasons we believe that it was unsuccessful is the duration of this event is going to be measured in a few days, not a few weeks or months, which can happen if these attacks are successful and they take over large numbers of computers and servers, and certainly if they were able to grab your data and you can't get it back. That did not happen. We did not lose any data. We're going to be able to deal with this. And I want you to know that we took very aggressive action, and most of what the public has seen is not a direct result of the ransomware attack. It's a direct result of us being aggressive and shutting down the system so that attack could not infiltrate more computers and more servers. And that's because of our efforts to make sure that this incident lasts only a few days and doesn't spread over the coming weeks. But there are lasting impacts at state agencies. We're working extremely hard to address those as we speak, and we'll do that as soon as we can. But I thank all the folks at the Office of Technology Services and all of the Emergency Support Function 17 folks. They're working around the clock to get all of our services back online. ESF 17, by the way, is a division of the emergency support functions that we undertake at GOSAP. We added EF 17 recently because we knew that these cyber attacks would be happening from time to time. You all will remember that this past summer we had a number of school districts, for example, that were attacked with this exact same ransomware. And while this has been a major inconvenience for many, I assure you that the protective actions that we have taken did prevent the loss of data and, again, likely saved us from having weeks and weeks of outages. But there's still work to be done. And I've decided that we are not going to open the Office of Motor Vehicles until Monday because I want to make sure that they have all weekend to get back online. Theirs were one of the servers. They actually infiltrated about 250 of 5,000 servers across the state. So it was a very low number, but the Office of Motor Vehicles was impacted. And so we're going to have them closed until Monday. I apologize for the inconvenience of this, But we are very confident that by working today, tomorrow, and through the weekend, that we will be able to reopen on Monday for all of the individuals who need to transact business at the Office of Motor Vehicles. We're also assisting the that got hit with a ransomware attack as well. We're going to continue to improve our cybersecurity capabilities at the state. That's a top priority in my second term. Obviously, and this is, again, something that's happening all across the country with increasing frequency, and it is the new normal, and to be honest with you, and it's not going to go away. And so we're going to have to on this and do more. We have made great progress on this front. We created the State Cybersecurity Commission and we're investing in cyber programs and resources across the state of Louisiana. And of course, as you know, it's not just state level entities that get hit. More often than not, it's local entities, and we're working very diligently with them as well so that they can improve their posture so that they can withstand these types of attacks. Now, with that, I just want to thank the First Lady for joining me today and having been with me for the first 4 years, and we're very much looking forward to the next 4. And I will take questions. Yes, sir.
Mr. Governor, what is your involvement in the speaker's committee? You obviously backed a Democrat last time and he fell short. Are you going to back a more moderate Republican who's willing to work with you this time in the speaker's race?
Well, I'm going to work with the legislature so that we can have a good working relationship with rank and file members and with leadership. I just hope that the legislature this time has an eye on, if they want independence, that's great. Opportunism and independence are not the same thing. And so I'm just looking to have a speaker with whom I can work and leadership in the legislature that I can work with. And really that's true for the Senate as well.
Governor?
Yes, ma'am, Sue.
You're still going to have to face Cameron Henry as he has moved up to the Senate. Not only that, but you'll have his morals in the House. How do you propose to deflect the partisan loyalty to party over the people?
Well, look, they can decide what their approach is going to be. I'm going to be willing to work with anyone who wants to work in good faith to solve our challenge forward. I hope that will include Cameron and Charles. There's no reason why it can't. If it doesn't, that'll be their decision, not mine.
Governor, in terms of your staff, usually going into a second term, there's some staff turnover, and we've obviously heard suggestions that maybe Matthew Block might be leaving. There have also been rumors about Jay Arden. Do you have staff changes that you want to talk about at this point?
Now, did you just make that up? Look, I'm not going to discuss staff changes right now. Look, you always have some because people sometimes are ready to retire, sometimes are ready to go back to the private sector. But I haven't made any decisions, and specifically with the name either intended to do. And so that before that rumor starts with respect to those individuals, I will tell you that at this point it's not something that we're contemplating at all. But you all will be getting, to the extent that there are going to be changes at the upper levels, cabinet level officials and that sort of thing, you're going to be, as we just haven't done it yet. I will tell you, I am extremely satisfied with the work that has been done by my administration in the governor's office, boards and commissions, and certainly our cabinet level officials, all of whom are professionals, and they've worked extremely hard under very, very difficult circumstances. I mean, we're in a much better place today, but I can remember vividly what it was like taking office 4 years ago. Budget deficit. I mean, there was just no easy decisions that you can make because unlike the federal government that routinely adds $1 trillion to our debt every year, we have to deliver a balanced budget every single year. And that's the circumstance that we came in to face, and my folks did a tremendous job. And I'm also proud that the cabinet that we have and the boards and commissions and my governor's office looks like the state of Louisiana. So you can rest assured that that will be the approach going forward. And while there might be a few changes, the overall approach is not going to continue to work hard for all the people of Louisiana. Yes, sir.
You faced a year of criticisms personally from Eddie Rispone and then the state criticisms about the state of our state.
Yeah.
Did Eddie Rispone make any good points?
No.
Can you elaborate? Why?
No. Look, the bottom line is that he never acknowledged that our state was growing faster than other states in the South, landing economic development projects at a record clip, not just for the state, but across the South. The unemployment's lowest in 12 years, and greatest amount of personal income ever. It just doesn't make sense to me to falsely claim that Louisiana is doing so poorly, when in fact we ought to all be rooting for Louisiana. So do we have challenges? Yes. But we don't have the challenges we had 4 years ago. I can tell you that. We're doing much better. And I think the people of Louisiana on Saturday night answered as to whether his criticisms were valid. The answer is no. Beth Courtney.
Governor, so as you enter your second term, how is this different? You're not running for re-election. Does it free you up more? What's your vision for a second term?
To work even harder and even make even more progress. And I happen to believe that because we're not saddled with that largest ever budget deficit, that we will have opportunities to do that in the state of Louisiana. And we can focus on those key decisions that we need to make sure that our state grows stronger and more prosperous, and that we implement policies rooted on compassion and common sense. We have the lowest percentage of people without history today. That is a really, really good thing. I'm excited about that. We need to maintain that. We're safer because of criminal justice reform, and we're saving money, that we are being disciplined enough as we're supposed to into that system. Well, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about this master plan for higher education. We have, I know that we have construction projects in Louisiana that will start next year all across our state that are going to create just tremendous numbers of jobs, construction jobs initially, but then permanent jobs, and that we're going to be able to grow our economy. I'm looking forward to the day when the tariff situation with respect to China and the trade wars and instability gets resolved. That's going to be tremendously beneficial to our state, and so I'm excited, Beth, about what we have to do. Just encourage the people of Louisiana, and particularly the legislature, let's work together and make sure that we take advantage of this opportunity.
You're a wiser person now, but do 4 years from now, vision of where you want to be? We're standing here 4 years from now.
Yeah, well, it looks like the things that I talked about earlier in this presentation, and that's not where I want to be. It's where I want the state to be 4 years from now. Yes, sir.
Governor, we understand the president called you to congratulate you after your big win. Can you shed some more light on that phone call? How long did it last? And what all did the president say?
It lasted a couple of minutes, and he called to congratulate me on the big win. He said that obviously I had run a great campaign. He didn't want me to win. He didn't think I would win, but that I did. And he also said that the election is over. He would very much like for us to get back to the working relationship that we had previously, and I assured him that that was my intention. In fact, that's what I had told the people of Louisiana leading up to the election would happen as soon as the election was over. And then he commented that, I guess he either saw a photograph or some of the video from my speech on Saturday night, and he commented that I had a beautiful family. And we left it at that, and I told him I would see him at the National Governors Association meeting this winter, and that would be looking forward to coming back to the White House for the black tie supper. And that's really about it. Yes, sir.
Mr. Governor, one of the things your election did was give Democrats a seat at the table in redistricting, which I know is a ways off, but do you embrace that role as giving Democrats a voice in Louisiana and drawing the maps? Do you think the maps need to be made fairer?
Well, it's not Democrats, it's the people of Louisiana. We need to make sure we have maps where voters choose their officials and not the other way around. We just need fair maps. And, you know, sometimes you can just look at a map and you see the irregularly shaped districts and you know something was at play. To the extent that we can, we need to address that and create maps that reflect, I think, a sense of fairness. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That will happen after the 2020 census, as you know, and it's been done before with a special session where redistricting is the only thing that's taken up, and it's also been done in a regular session, and we'll have to figure out exactly what approach we're going to take. But we'll be getting to redistricting soon enough, and it is my intention just to make sure that I work with the legislature and insist upon fair maps.
Do you think we need another competitive congressional district?
I'm sorry, do I?
Do you think we need another competitive congressional district?
I just think we need fair maps.
Governor,
Yes.
on this, you talked about you would not support anything that undoes this financial stability of the state. Does that mean that you would object to any effort to roll back the temporary sales tax early as you have previously?
Well, it would depend on what the revenue estimating conference shows for a particular year and what the economists show for the out year. So if the impact of that would be that we go right back into annual deficits where you start every year with a cut and then you have potentially one or more mid-year cuts, the answer is no, I'm not interested in that. We saw how destructive that was. We cut higher education more than any other state in the nation over the 8 years before I was governor because of that approach. You know, the very definition of insanity is to do the same thing over again and expect a different result. And so I'm not saying that I won't take a look at the 0.45 that stays on the books through 2025. And yesterday at the radio show, I think I said 2024, but it's really 2025. But only if it's warranted based on what the economists are telling us and what we can expect. We are not going to go back to a situation where we're unable to invest in our critical priorities.
So in other words, if the economists say that another source of income for the state is largely enough to cover anything that would be
then it's something that we can look at. You know, that will play out over time, but I'm not going to support any effort that would just prematurely put our state back into the fiscal instability that we worked so hard to recover from.
Harrison?
Yeah, Governor, just more of a direct bread and butter issue with the motor vehicle offices closed here. To those who owe traffic tickets and all of that, I would imagine they would not be charged late fees as the offices there.
Specifics, I will tell you that people whose licenses are expiring during the period where the offices are closed are not going to be cited for and fined for having an expired license until sometime after they reopen and they have an opportunity to go in. But this should not be seen as folks as an excuse to be months behind on renewing a license that has expired. But we're going to make sure that we're treating the public fairly.
Okay, last one, guys. Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Me? Oh, awesome. A House committee recently passed a bill that would remove marijuana from the substance. Should it be passed on the federal level? Is that something that you're looking to remove from Louisiana?
All right, so I think you're talking about something that happened in Congress recently, and it's not Congress as a whole. And I'm not sure whether it was a House committee or whether it passed the House floor yesterday. I saw a headline, but I can't remember. Passed the House, right? So it's not just committee, passed the House. Obviously, if the federal government Congress as a whole chooses to do that, we would have to look at what the implications are for the state if we have laws that are inconsistent with that. That is not something that I am looking to do on my own. right now, but if the federal law changes, we have to look at what the state law is in relationship to the federal law to see whether it makes sense for us to persist in our current approach or whether we need to change that approach. But that is not something that I'm interested in doing, irrespective of what happens in Congress. Look, I want to thank all of you for coming out this morning. I want to wish you all in the press, but also more broadly all the people of Louisiana, a wonderful holiday season coming up, starting with Thanksgiving next week. And I would just tell you, I believe that we always have much to be thankful for. I know that Donna and I and our family do, but I think our state does as well. We have been tremendously blessed and challenges, yes. I think everywhere has certain challenges, but we've also been tremendously blessed, and I would encourage people to give thanks for all of our blessings next week, and then have a wonderful holiday season, and certainly a great Christmas. It doesn't mean you won't see me before Christmas. But as we get ready, and you can see we're ready here for the Governor's Mansion already for Christmas. They've done a beautiful job decorating over the last couple of days. So God bless all of you, and thank you very much. All right, Mama.